How's it going, everyone? Welcome back into the channel. Today concluded the final joint practice for the Green Bay Packers in 2023 training camp. This was the second day of joint practice with the New England Patriots ahead of their second preseason game against the Patriots this Saturday in Green Bay. I also will be streaming for this game right here on YouTube during the Packers-Patriots second preseason game, so make sure to come hang out. All right, so there's a decent bit to go over in today. Complete polar opposite from yesterday's practice for a multitude of reasons. So in this video, let's recap and break down everything that happened in today's practice. So firstly, I want to go over some of the things Matt LaFleur said in his press conference before practice. LaFleur said that rookie defensive lineman Carl Brooks and Colby Wooden have provided a spark in the Packers' internal pass rush. Quote, "That's the name of the game in this league." These are two players I've been impressed with during training camp, Wooden and Brooks, especially Carl Brooks. He's been outstanding during training camp, and it seems like Matt LaFleur is as well. LaFleur said they were going to throw a lot at tight end Luke Musgrave to get him ready for the season and will back off only if it becomes too much for him. The Packers have definitely been throwing a lot at Luke Musgrave over this entirety of training camp. He's already tight end one. Yesterday, they had him on a jet touch pass. They've been throwing seam passes to him. They've been moving him all around that offense, pretty much every position they possibly could. He's already done in practice, and I think that's going to be the case this year. And it seems like he is handling that all very well, and he's practiced very well and looked good in that Bengals game. I'm excited to see more of him. So now let's go over the injury updates from today's practice. Firstly, David Bakhtiari returned to practice. He's been out the last few days. It was their estimation that he'd practice today, and he did in full. I don't see Bakhtiari playing in any preseason game, and I also don't see him being traded. He'll be left tackle number one, week one. Tariq Carpenter and Kenny Clark also returned to practice. They've been out a few days as well. As for players still out of practice, Caleb Jones, Corey Ballantyne, Ennis Gaines, Bo Melton, Lou Nichols, Tyler Goodson, Devondre Campbell still out. We saw his first day out yesterday, Luke Tenuta, and Eric Stokes. As for an update on the Jaden Reed injury, he was banged up late in yesterday's practice and didn't return. He fully returned today, so he practiced in individuals, and he also practiced in team portions, so nothing to worry about there. I'm so thankful of that. So now let's go over the offense from today's practice. The starters, nothing crazy here. Jordan Love, Aaron Jones, Watson, Dobbs, Musgrave, and on the offensive line, since Bach returned, it was Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, John Runyon Jr., and Zach Tom. And that seems like that's going to be the starting offensive line going into week one. So now let's break down the offense as a whole from today's practice. And first, I wanted to go over that there was a lot of fights in today's practice. I mean, a lot on offense, on defense, on special teams. The Packers and the Patriots fought a lot today. Complete polar opposite from yesterday where there was no fights at all and it was all calm. Today was the opposite and a ton of fights. The first 4 out of 5 plays on offense for the Packers, it ended in some type of fight. First with DeGuara, then with Malik Heath, who was blocking Patriots cornerback Marcus Jones like 10 yards down the field. He didn't like that, got up and swung at Malik Heath. Love seeing Heath blocking like that in a practice. That'll definitely help him make the roster. Aaron Jones even got heated after he was tripped up and swung at a Patriots defensive player. So Aaron Jones doing this, which I would never expect, just really shows you how, testy today's practice was. And also on special teams, there was a fight with Isaiah McDuffie, who ended up on the ground, and Patriots players were kicking him. I actually have a clip right here. Helmet got thrown in the air by, I believe, Patriots defender Keon White. Just wild scenes from today's practice. Way too much fighting. It kind of becomes counterproductive if every play has to be stopped after a fight or players are potentially getting injured, and just really off balance from a normal practice. I'm glad this was the last day of joints. Obviously, they still have the game on Saturday, so interested to see if anything happens in a game. Obviously, there's more lenience in a practice where you're not going to get suspended or anything of that sort, but there was a Patriots player on defense, I think it was Anfree Jennings, that did get kicked out of practice. The Patriots' intensity was just much higher today. The Packers team as a whole, the offense, the defense, the special teams, just didn't have a great practice today. So as for the offense, Jordan Love, just an inconsistent day. Yesterday, he made a lot of good throws, some touchdown passes and whatnot. I thought, in my opinion, it was a great day of practice yesterday for Jordan Love. Today was more so that inconsistent practice that we've seen in some of these practices so far in training camp. Like I said before, it's going to be an up and down thing for Jordan Love also going into the season. It's going to be the same way. He did make some nice throws today. 2 early touchdowns to Christian Watson to start team portion, so they're really starting to heat up. I feel like Christian Watson's starting to make a ton of plays in training camp. camp. So good to see them starting to really build that rapport. He had a really nice out route to Samori Toure later in practice, a really nice corner route to Tay Wicks in between two defenders, but he also made some poor throws and poor decisions. He threw a pick to Kyle Duggar trying to fit a ball into Luke Musgrave. We saw that work yesterday where he fired a ball into Musgrave across the seam and it ended in a touchdown. Today, Duggar got the best of it and ended in an interception. He's really good at covering tight end. That's why yesterday it was so significant to see that, but today it didn't work. Love also started his 2-minute drill. The first throw was an interception to Marcus Jones. It was a really great play by Marcus Jones, but nonetheless still an interception. Again, Love had a couple overthrows, kind of been a consistency in camp so far, but he also had some drops by his receivers. Musgrave dropped a touchdown in the 2-minute drill. DeGuara dropped a touchdown as well, and that's happened quite a bit in camp where, yeah, Jordan Love has had his issues throwing the football, but there are times where he makes a really nice throw and the receiver simply drops it. As I said, up and down day for Love for sure. Tay Wicks and Malik Heath had a really nice day blocking, which we know the Packers love. I thought it was a really nice day by Tay Wicks and Malik Heath. Malik Heath has just been showing up every single practice and putting in the work and making his case to potentially make this 53-man roster. Wicks had a few nice catches today. As I said, he had a good practice. Grant DeBoe's making more splash plays. I feel like he's been consistently making plays ever since, returning to the field, or should I say coming to the field, because he never practiced before he finally just returned last week. In the middle of practice, tight end Tucker Kraft got hit pretty hard. He stepped out of practice. It didn't look too good, but he did then later return. The Packers are super thin in that tight end room. Really can't suffer any injuries anymore. One thing that did look good for the Packers offense was the starting offensive line. They held up nicely versus the Patriots front seven today, and that's likely because it is the starting offensive line that we're going to see week one with Bakhtiari out there, Tom at right tackle. There's still a question mark with Myers at center, but we know what we have with Elton and John Rennan Jr. at guards, and obviously the tackles with Tom and Bakhtiari. The second team during 2-minute drills actually completed a Hail Mary. It was Sean Clifford to Cody Crest, where he threw the ball up after being pressured. It kind of tipped around, rolled off a defender's back, and Cody Crest ended up coming up with the ball in the back of the end zone. A very crazy play, to say the least. Overall, not a great day for the Packers offense. They struggled moving the ball. The Patriots defense looked great today, higher intensity. They were flying around, making plays. I'm excited to see this preseason game and what it's going to look like for both of these teams. Now moving over to the defensive recap, the starters. Kenny Clark returned to practice, so on the defensive line, it was Clark, Slayton, and Wyatt. Those three are the main three starters on that defensive line in a base defense. Inigbare got the start opposite Preston Smith, so they're still really rotating these edge guys around a lot. Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie, obviously with Devondre Campbell still out. McDuffie is that next linebacker up. Rasul and Jair at corners, and at safeties, it was John Owens next to Darnell Savage. So we saw Tarvarius Moore yesterday, John Owens today. The one constant has been Darnell Savage. I feel like he's started at safety every single practice. It's kind of been Rudy Ford not starting, which is a surprise to me because, I did say, about a month ago, I thought Rudy Ford was like a lock at starter. And obviously that hasn't been the case. The Packers might want Owens or Tarvarius Moore next to Darnell Savage, and they've been rotating those guys a lot. So we'll see what happens come week one. So as for the team portions, yesterday the Packers defense did really well. Today, just like the offense, that was not the case. They struggled. Now, one good thing for the defense is they still created pressure and sacks. Yesterday, they had a ton of pressure, created a lot of sacks. I believe it was kind of a backup offensive line for the Patriots, so, you can read only so much into that. But that was probably the one positive today on the Packers defense. They still created pressure and still created some sacks. But the Patriots offense dominated in the red zone period. Mac Jones threw touchdowns to Juju, Devontae Parker, Zeke Elliott had a rushing touchdown in red zone. Even the Patriots' second offense dominated in red zone. Zappe had 4 touchdowns in the red zone period. So again, not a great day by the defense at all. Also, Isaiah McDuffie looked good again. He looked good yesterday filling in for Devondre Campbell. That was the same today. He had a couple pressures and some nice stops as well. But yeah, the Packers pass defense primarily got torched today. There was a long touchdown against Rasul. Jair got, touchdowns thrown on him in the red zone. Overall, the Packers pass defense just did not look good today. The Patriots simply won the practice day on both sides of the ball. So that's all the recap I have from today's practice. That was the final joint practice of the 2023 offseason. I like joint practices. You get a better view of some of the player talent evaluation, and of course going into the preseason game, it just gives you more to watch and monitor and all of that. Like I said, not a good day for the Packers, but joint practices are over. The second preseason game is this Saturday against the Patriots, so really excited to watch that. But that about does it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like down below. It supports my channel a ton. And also go down and click the subscribe button if you are a new viewer and want to stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers. You'll find it all right here on this channel. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.